everyone, my name is Marissa. I am a certified personal trainer, and the video I'm making today has nothing to do with anything else on my channel, but I am an entrepreneur and I like to make money. I see making money as more of a game than anything else, and that's how I've kind of approached it my entire life. I try to do everything I can in as much of a creative way as possible, so I've racked up quite a few ways to make money. And the cool thing is you don't have to be 18 or older to do a lot of these. So even if you're under 18, you can still get a lot of value out of this video. And for those of you who have been regularly subscribed to me, let me know if you want me to do more money-making videos, investment videos, financial advice, all of those things. I have time management videos on my channel that are really helpful. I can do money management too. I like all of these things. I have a lot of interests clearly. If health, fitness, anything in the nutrition area, time management, financial advice, any of that suits your fancy, and then you've come to the right place. And if you like all of those things, definitely subscribe. Or if you just like a couple of those things, I would suggest subscribing as well, because that way you'll never miss out on any videos I put out. I hope to give you some ideas on how to make money that you haven't thought of before. So that's my mission today. As you go through these, comment below which ones you've heard of before or have done before, and things you've never thought about trying, because I guarantee you out of this list of 14, there will be at least one thing you haven't thought of yet. I have been an entrepreneur since I came out of the womb. I was raised by two entrepreneurial parents who have run their own businesses pretty much my entire life. Therefore, this list is going to be in chronological order. I'm going to start when I first started making money, and we're gonna go through all of the things I've did up until the present. I am not 22 yet. I won't be 22 until next year. However, I didn't get my first actual job until age 15, but I was making my own money way before that. Also, I'm going to be rating each of these choices between 1 to 5. If it's a 1, it is going to be very high effort and very low payout. Basically, don't do it. 2 will be moderately high effort compared to payout. 3 will be neutral. You get out what you put in. Simple as that. 4 will be moderately high payout compared to effort. And 5 will be very high payout, very low effort. So you can compare and contrast in your head what sounds good to you, what you would want to do, and what you wouldn't necessarily want to do, considering my personal rating, having experienced it myself. Now I'm just going to go ahead and say ways 1 through 8 you can do under the age of 18. Everything beyond that, typically you have to be older to do. The first thing I started doing was, I'd say around ages 8 to 10, but you can do it at any age. I would play my flute on the side of a street during street fairs back in my hometown. But of course, street performances of any kind are applicable in this case. Any instrument, any dance style, singing, whatever talent you have, if you want to showcase it, not necessarily on a stage, but showcase it in any way, you can do a street performance. Street fairs happen all over the place. A lot of them are going to be local, so you don't have to drive super far. And I would rate this one a 3. Depends on your talent, how long you choose to stay there, whether you stay for 3 to 5 hours. I would just keep playing. I think the street fair that I played at would be like 5 or 6 hours, and I would play the whole time. Obviously, I'd take breaks, but I was a hustler, man. I wanted that coin, so I got it. I just put out a little bucket, and I think what attracted people to me was that I was this very small child playing a regular sized flute, so my arms were stretched out this far. It was a good time. I enjoyed myself, and I made a good amount of money for what I was doing. But of course, if you live in a more touristy place, you could make a lot more money than what I did just playing in Connecticut. For example, I went to Clearwater Beach last night and there was break dancing and they had a huge crowd, which means a lot of money. So this could be a 4 or a 5, just depending on where you're located and what your talent is. Number 2 would be helping to run a family business. Maybe your mom, your dad, your uncle, your grandfather, whoever, even a friend of yours, maybe they have a family business and need extra help with small tasks or big tasks. For me, I helped my mom run her birthday party shop. The store was called It's the Perfect Party, and we would truly make these birthday parties spectacular. I did almost as much work as she did, and she would pay me a good amount of money for helping her. I would also say this is a 3, but it depends on who you're working for, what your task is, and how much work you put into it. But relatively, you'll find this at a 3. Knowing people can be really helpful to get you into certain areas of business and to make certain amounts of money. I was 11 to 12 years old working this business with my mom, and it helped me be able to do it on my own eventually. So you never know. Maybe if you're trying to apply for jobs, maybe you don't have to look very far. Maybe there's someone you know that could hire you. You just have to ask. Maybe they don't know that you're looking. It never hurts to ask. 3, I would sell clothes online using apps like Poshmark or Mercari. I'd give this one a 2. You're definitely not going to become a millionaire from selling your clothes. First of all, you have to have nice enough clothes for people to want to buy them. I would try and put clothes up that I had gotten from consignment shops, and some of the time, if it wasn't a name brand, nobody would buy them. But I did make probably a couple $1,000s, but over the course of a few years doing it. And of course, it's something I would do in my spare time. I wouldn't dedicate so much to it, but when I would, and I really had the motivation to sell my clothes, if I wanted to go shopping, but I had too many clothes in my closet, I would do that and I would make a good amount of money. I say it's a 2 because there is a lot more work involved, like taking the pictures, making the descriptions, but then actually going to the post office, packaging everything, all of that. It is a lot of work compared to the payout, because you're not gonna get the same price for something that you originally bought the item for. But if you need some extra cash, this was a really good way to do that. And then when I was 16, I started my own business. It was a birthday party business. I would go to children's birthday parties and do balloon animals and face painting. I had taken the skills that I learned while I was working with my mom at 11 or 12 years old and applied it to my own mobile business. I didn't have money at 16 to buy a studio space like she did, so I had a mobile birthday party thing. Sometimes it was someone's house, another time they had rented out a space, but either way, I would drive to it as long as it was about an hour and a half or less. I didn't have specific miles, but that's the cool thing about this. You can control where you go. If you don't want to drive 2 hours away, if it's not worth it to you financially, then you don't have to do it. It was really nice to have that sense of control. I really, really liked doing this, and I really did make a good amount of money doing this. I would say it would be a 3 for me. It was a lot of work. You have to promote and put your name out there. I would advertise by going into mom's Facebook groups, and whenever anyone would ask for a face painter or a balloon artist to go to a party, I would say, hey, here I am, and people really liked me. I had a bubbly personality, and I was only 16. Like, I think people really admired that I was my own boss at 16, becoming a little entrepreneur, so people were really keen to hire me. But the cool thing is, you get referrals. I made these postcards. They weren't business cards, they were huge, this big, with all of my information on it, really pretty, beautifully designed, and I would bring them everywhere I went. And other moms at these parties would pick them up and then hire me for their kids' parties, and it would just be this snowball effect. I believe I did this for 2 years, and I don't know how much I made, to be honest. I didn't keep track, but I made a pretty good living for a 16-year-old in high school. It was wonderful. Of course, there were stressful times, but there's stressful times with anything you do. The next thing I would do is set up at craft fairs. This is its separate thing. It's totally different from a birthday party. I've done everything with craft fairs, jewelry making, all these DIY things that people can come and make their own arts and crafts at my table. And then once I had my birthday party business, I would set up and make balloon animals and do face painting at my own table. So you have to get yourself out there. You have to find out when these craft events are happening and when and how much it is to set up. It's not free to go and set up at a craft show. I think the places that I would set up, the vendor fee was anywhere from $35 to $75. But comparing to that and the work it takes to haul all of your stuff there and set up and sit there for hours and hours, I would give it a 2. My primary purpose for setting up at craft fairs was to advertise for my birthday party services. I didn't go there with the mindset of making a bunch of money. I would make some money and it was nice. It was all cash, so I would walk home with a pile of cash, but it wasn't anything close to what I would do actually going to these birthday parties, especially hour by hour. When I did birthday parties, I would only work for maybe 1 to 3 hours and walk home with like anywhere from $75 to $250, just depending on what I was doing at that one party. So I would make at least $75 an hour, which is mind-blowing. You don't think that you can do that as a 16-year-old, but I did, and it was awesome. And that would not be the case for when I would do these craft fairs. However, I would advertise and get customers for my birthday party services that way. And I think for that reason, they're very beneficial, but I wouldn't give them a higher rating on my scale. I either started hostessing at 15 or 16. I honestly can't recall. And I can't remember if I started my birthday party business before that. I think I did. I don't know. It's all jumbled up in my head. But yes, I did end up eventually getting a regular job, because when you're solo freelancing entrepreneur, your pay is unsteady. If you want a stable pay, you need a regular job. You need a boss. So I became a hostess, and you can do that under 18. If you're a hostess, I would say that's a 3 on the list. It's really not that much work, and it's not hard typically to find a hostessing job either, at least in the area where I am. It's not really city life, but it's definitely not out in the country either. So I think it's fairly easy to secure a position as a hostess. The job itself is fairly easy, and you're not gonna be making a whole lot of money, but it's a decent amount, especially if you're in high school just looking for some extra spending money. I simultaneously had a job as a barista at an acai bowl and smoothie place, and I really loved that. I loved the fast-paced environment and actually getting to make what I was serving, which I couldn't do as a hostess. I think it was much more exciting than being a hostess, but still in food service, which I loved. If you like fast-paced environments where you're not really sitting around waiting for too long, it's definitely not boring. The work days go by very quickly, and that's what I liked about it. I would say this is a 3 as well. This is a little bit more work than being a hostess, but I made more money hourly, especially with tips, working as a barista. And I say barista, but really I made the acai bowls and smoothies. I worked the cash register. I did everything in between. So I don't know what to really call it other than I was an employee, and it was fun. So I did make a good amount of money doing that. And I did it part-time. I did hostessing part-time. I've never had a solid full-time job where I actually went in somewhere and worked 40 hours a week, which is crazy because I will be doing that next month for no pay. Crazy how this comes full circle. Okay, from here down, you can do under 18. This is the last one for any age to be able to do. I would sell homemade baked goods, and I would advertise on Facebook, in Facebook groups and pages. I would just let everybody know in my area that I was making French macaroons. I decided one one day that I really liked French macaroons and they were too expensive for me to get in the habit of going out and purchasing them. So I said, I'll just make them myself. They are so difficult to make. It took me 3 times to actually get them semi-decent, but once I got it, I perfected it, and I knew that nobody else was selling French macaroons except this one small shop in the mall, and I knew I could take them out easily. Mine tasted better, mine had cleaner ingredients, so I sold French macaroons and I made a really good amount of money doing that. I would give this a 3. It is a lot of work. You do have to invest in the ingredients ahead of time. It's really gonna come down to what you're baking. French macaroons are very hard to make and take a lot of time. If you're making just chocolate chip cookies, I feel like it would be a lot easier, but French macaroons are in high demand. That's why I chose to do them. So here's the difference. Either you're gonna make something like chocolate chip cookies, very cheap ingredients, but you're gonna sell them for cheap, or you can do something like French macaroons, things that people really can't get their hands on as easily. The ingredients are more expensive, but you can sell them at a much higher price and probably a much higher profit margin as well, especially because you're making them in bulk, so it's cheaper to make in bulk versus just 12. I would recommend it. If you don't care about putting yourself out there and advertising, you can make some extra money. I say extra because unless you're planning to open up your own bakery, I don't see anyone doing this super long term, but that's just me. But hey, if you want to make some extra money, definitely do it. But of course, there's rules and regulations in specific states about selling food products, so you definitely need to check and see if it's something that is feasible for you and you can do. Okay, number 9. I was in direct sales / AKA I was in a multi-level marketing company. If you've been on my channel at all and watched my videos, you know this already. This was another way I made money. If you want the story, go watch my other 2 videos. Do not watch this one. I will not be elaborating at all. If you don't know what an MLM is, you can check out my other videos, do a quick Google search. It's too much to get into in this video because I've already talked about it plenty. I was selling health and wellness products, so meal replacement shakes, protein bars, cleanse drinks, things like that. I will give this a 1 because I worked my butt off and had very low payout. This is the only one I do not recommend to anybody. If you're in an MLM, the people in your upline will make you think that it's a 3 or a 5, but it's a 1. I was conditioned to think that you get out of it what you put in, when in reality that is not the case. I made pennies compared to how hard I worked. Don't do this one. Number 10 is personal training. Of course, this costs money to start up, just like it does with any business, but it can be very profitable just depending on what you do with your certification. If you are working in a gym, you're not gonna be making that much money. I would say if you're working in a gym, that's probably a 2 on the scale. For me, personal training is a 4. I make a really good amount of money and I work very little because I am an online personal trainer. So all of my clients are online and I use a specific system to give them their workouts, which saves a lot of time on my end. It's really, really amazing, and I can't elaborate too much because it's kind of my best kept secret and I want to keep it that way. For now, at least. One day I'll spill all my secrets of how to become a successful personal trainer, but that's not what this channel is for. But yeah, if you love helping people and you love exercise, I would definitely recommend becoming a personal trainer. It is not that difficult. A lot of people are capable of becoming personal trainers as long as they pay attention and read the books and take the exam and pass. You're a personal trainer. But of course, you have to continue your education every 2 years by attending live events or symposiums or taking extra courses. This is a more long-term commitment than, say, selling cookies. Wow, okay, we're still going. Here's number 11, content creation. And I am going to put these in brackets, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat because all of the ratings are going to be different. Overall, this is extremely volatile, meaning it could be a 1, it could be a 5. It depends on you. It depends on your audience. It depends on the types of content you're creating. It might be a 1 or 2 at first, but can turn into a 4 or 5 later on, depending on your consistency, dedication, content, quality of your videos, things like that. If you have a bubbly personality and you have a lot to say, I would recommend becoming a content creator. There are so many different niches you can put yourself into. My niche is very saturated because I am in the health and fitness setting. I promise you, no matter how specific your interests are, there are people that want to hear you talk about it or do said thing. The right people will find you, but I think that TikTok and YouTube are the best ways to cultivate an audience and a community surrounding your niche. Instagram is a 1. You can put a lot of time into Instagram and have no payout. However, they are changing things because they're realizing now that they have to compete with TikTok. So it might not be a 1 down the road. For me personally, for how much content I have put on there versus how much money I've made, I can go out and say I've only made probably $100 off of my Instagram, and that has been in the past week because they just now started up some features to allow creators to monetize. Before that, I was never making money on Instagram, and it's only on this list now because I made that first $100. TikTok, I'm a firm believer that it is a 3. You get out what you put into that app. If you are posting 6 times a day, you're going to gain traction much quicker than someone that's only posting 1 to 2 times a day. I used to post 4 to 6 times a day, and now I only post 1 to 2 times a day, and I have noticed that I am not gaining followers nearly as rapidly as I did when I posted 4 to 6 times a day. But I can't keep up with it right now. So if you are gonna hit the ground running and really focus on TikTok, you can grow it very quickly. And not only can you join the Creator Fund and make money, that way you can also make money from brand deals, which is extremely lucrative. YouTube, I would say, for me personally, is a 2. It takes a lot of time to edit. It is exponentially more work than TikTok is. However, you can make more money from YouTube, from their partnership program, and brand deals if you become successful. And then Snapchat, surprisingly enough, is a 5 because of Snapchat Spotlight. The content that I find on Snapchat Spotlight, if not reposted TikToks, is bottom of the barrel content that takes 0 brain cells to create. I am sorry, that is the truth. If you scroll on there, you're either gonna see TikToks reposted there or people using the snap lenses, and that is really what helps you get your videos viewed on that app. I say it's a 5 because I made an insane amount of money off of one video that took me less than 2 minutes to film, edit, and upload. It took all of that. All 3 of those things took 2 minutes, and I made more money than I have ever made on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram combined. Now, granted, I have not been able to do that again because nothing has gotten views for me on that platform since then, but it is insane how little effort goes into the content creation versus how much money you can make, and I definitely plan to take it a little bit more seriously in the future. I mean, that's relative because the time that I made that much money, I was posting 14 spotlights a day. Granted, they would only take me a couple minutes to edit and put out, but I was really focused on it. So of course it did take a little bit of work, but it's not manual labor. It doesn't take any intellect. So that's why it's a 5. Number 12 is stocks or Bitcoin. I give this a 3. You obviously have to invest money to get money with this. Depends on how much research you do as well. I don't do any research and I don't put a whole lot of money into it. Therefore, I don't make a lot of money through stocks or Bitcoin. It is just not something that interests me, so I don't do it. I am not passionate about learning about stocks. There was a point in time where I did go all in and learn about investment and stocks and all of that, and I didn't enjoy it, so I'm not going to do it. I don't care if I can make $1 million doing it. I'm not going to do it because I don't enjoy it. Now that is completely different than, let's say, investing in an IRA, which I can go into in a whole different video, but I'm just primarily talking about stocks and Bitcoin. That's a 3. Do it if you want. Invest your spare change there, and you'll get something out of it usually, but it's also a gamble. So be wary of the potential negative consequences of putting your money into a failing business per se. You can lose money. You can lose money at any of these things, but this one is the riskiest, I'd say. 13, this one is a little controversial. I did OnlyFans for about 3 weeks. And I sell feet pics when someone asks for them. I don't go out of my way to be like, hey, I'm selling feet pics, but if someone says they like my toes and they want pictures, I will take a picture of my feet and send them. And I am not ashamed. Basically, I'm gonna put all of this into the bracket of selling your body on the internet in any way. When I did OnlyFans, I was not posting any sort of nudity or anything like that. It was only bikini pics, maybe the occasional bra and underwear. The problem was guys were expecting me to be naked and I wasn't, and then I wouldn't get that many subscribers. Either way, I give this genre a 5. If you are okay with promoting yourself on your social medias to do this, it is a 5. I am convinced that if I did what it took to make $1 million on OnlyFans, I could do it. I was not comfortable putting my body out there on the internet in this manner, so I didn't, but I saw the potential for sure. Just also know the downsides to doing that. If you are a professional or going into a professional career, it could be something that hinders you from getting a job you want. If your page is well known, let's say, you are going to deal with really crappy people when doing these things. People that degrade you and look at you in a way that you might not want them to look at you. Say nasty things to you. I have thick skin. Most of what people said didn't bother me, but at the end of the day, I felt icky. And I didn't think it aligned with my morals. Have boundaries, have integrity. It is okay. Whatever you want to do with your body, you can do. But I wasn't willing to put myself out there in that way. I think we're finally down to number 14. Oh my gosh, this took so long. I am so sorry, but I hope you've gotten value out of it this far. Definitely give it a thumbs up if it does. Last one is modeling. I have only had one paid modeling gig in my life. It was in 2020, right before the pandemic, and I had the dream of continuing. However, COVID happened, and then I became a personal trainer. I got on TikTok, and then that plane took off. So I haven't done it since, but I really, really loved it. I did hair modeling, which is why I still have blue hair to this day. I drove to that gig with brown hair and I drove away with blue hair, and I am just so happy about it. I would definitely give this a 4. It is a decently high payout compared to the effort, but of course it depends on what type of modeling you're doing. I sat in a chair, I walked around, and I ate amazing food, and I got paid a decent amount to do all of that. So I enjoyed it so much. With hair modeling, they really didn't care about body image as much, and I really liked that because I had been weightlifting, so I may not have been the typical skinny model. I would say if you're getting into modeling and they are pressuring you to lose weight, especially if you're already at a healthy weight, I would say red flag and run. I just got really lucky with the gig that I had. I knew someone who thought of me and thought I would be good for this job. So I am going to leave you with a very important statement moving forward in your career and just in your life in general. It is not what you know, it is who you know. I don't know why I said it in an official manner, but it is true. A lot of these ways I've made money is through connections. Knowing the right people at the right time allowed me to do a lot of the things that I still do to this day. So networking is of the utmost importance, no matter what field you're going into. I really hope this was helpful. I know this is nothing like what I ever do. This could get 0 views or it could take off. I'm really hoping it does. I thought this was a really fun idea because I was thinking about it last night, just counting all the different ways I have made money and how it's pretty unique. And a lot of these are unique, and I hope that this provided insight and maybe this could help you start to earn more money, even if you're under 18. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, night. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you later.